Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Today is Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So today is Marriage Tuesday. And tonight is Heart of the Matter on marriage.
Communication.
Yeah, on marriage.
Marriage.
It's Heart of the Matter on marriage. Tonight on Heart of the Matter on marriage, we're talking about
Communication.
The ultimate roadmap to a great marriage. Amen. Listen, last week we talked a lot about in-laws, or not only in-laws, but friends, outside influences. Could be your grown children, it could be your in-laws, but really we talked about demands, words, and expectation. How people do that, how they put demands on our marriage, how they speak words into our marriage, and they also put expectations on our marriage, right? And it's really it's not godly, because at the end of the day, we need to have a centralized vision that God has called us to collectively as one. And then from there, we have our individual things that we do, but everything that we do is to attribute to that vision and direction God has given the marriage. And that kind of keeps us out of a lot of the what about me things. And you know, he's trying to control me or she's trying to control me. If you have a centralized direction you're going, you'll get out of a lot of that. And we use the example of Dean and Anne Marie.
Right.
With Dean's mom, and Pastor Franny's going to talk today a little bit about how you get out of this issue. And Dean and Anne Marie's a great example of that. We use Jay and Elizabeth from a career perspective. Right. And let me tell you, that wasn't easy for Elizabeth. At first she had a lot of, she was kind of, not that she was selfish. I don't know that she really trusted Jay. A lot of times y'all got to realize, you get into marriages, you just started knowing that person.
You grow in trust.
Right. You grow in trust. Trust, the day you say I do, your trust meter is not 100%. Your trust meter is about 10%. And then through the marriage, you build trust, you tear trust down. You build trust, you tear trust down. So it takes time. But what Elizabeth did was she trusted us. She trusted her pastors. Yep. She believed in the counsel that we were giving. And that was a struggle, but she did. She tried. And as a result of that, it ended up Jay got a great job.
Yeah.
Jay's doing really, really great. And the beautiful part is now they're on baby number 2. And they couldn't even have babies. They're on baby number 2. And Elizabeth is going back to school. She's doing extremely well, right? So now she's doing some of her fulfillment. And Jay now is stepping up, guys, and he's washing dishes, he's doing clothes, he's picking up the baby. He's doing all those things because not that he's not a man, he's supporting his wife now as she supported him. This is how it works, folks.
You're being a team.
It's being a team. So today what we want to talk about is how do we get out of the rut when, let's say, your adult children have infiltrated the marriage, or let's say that you want to do one thing in your career and she wants to do another thing in her career. Or let's just say y'all have a blended family and maybe you're having challenges with one kid and it's just these things that cause division and strife. Tonight on Heart of the Matter, we're going to talk about communication. And that's a big part of it because communication is what makes or break us. But I want to read this. I want Pastor Franny to read this one more time. And it was in Matthew. Hold on one second. Let me just pull it up real quick. Matthew chapter 19, verse 5 and 6. Because I want you to hear it again. Because I want you to think about it. Matthew chapter 19, verse 5 and 6.
And said, for this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and shall be united firmly, joined inseparably to his wife. And the whole two shall become one flesh. So there are no longer two, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let no man put asunder. That means to separate.
How do you come to one flesh? How do you really come? And we talk about it in the whole the heart of the matter that we've been doing on marriage, getting that centralized vision, knowing where you're going as a couple. But even with that, you got to have communication. But even when you learn how to communicate, you know what you got to have? What do they got to have? Love. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, first of all, the Bible says that love has a multitude of faults.
Love does what?
Real love hides a multitude of faults.
So is it safe to say then, if someone is accentuating your faults, maybe they don't love you?
That's not a sign of love.
Right. So love, one thing my wife taught me and I learned from her is a thing called protection. My wife never, ever exposed me in front of people. Never. Even to the point when we were having issues and I'd want to go talk to the pastor. She's like, no, we need to work through this in some areas, because she just didn't want to expose me. Now, if it got out of control, then we definitely went. But she always protected me. She always covered me. She always, let's keep working on it. As long as I was working on it, we could work on it. Now, if I'd made a decision to stop working on it, now we're going to see Pastor Poe and Pastor Deborah, right? But love covers. Love doesn't uncover, right? What else?
And the Bible also says that perfect love casts out all fear.
Right. So when you have perfect love, when you love them, you're not going to be in fear that your time's not going to come.
Right.
You're not going to be in fear that you're missing out on something. That's one of the biggest issues, especially with women, and time.
Yes.
I'm getting old.
Yes.
I'm missing out on this. You got to trust God.
Everybody's looking to be today significant.
Right.
And it's causing people to be desperate.
Right.
And really focus in on themselves, and then they don't feel like enough instead of focusing in on God. God will make us significant.
Right.
He
right.
really will.
Yeah, you got to trust. Now, I'm not telling you that man or that woman's not going to hurt you if you trust. They can. And you got to hear from God, especially today. Because one of the big challenges we have today there are a lot of people saying that they know God, saying that God's speaking to them, and it's so far from the truth. God doesn't speak outside his word. God's never going to tell you to go do something in your marriage that your husband or your wife is totally against. That's not God. And if let's say my wife tells me today, God spoke to me this morning and told me I'm no longer to be the pastor of Life Transforming Ministries. I'm to go start a flower shop. Let's say she believes 100% that's God. The first thing I'm going to tell her, that's not God. Why? Because we have a centralized vision. We know where we're going. We've agreed to this. We believed in it. That's number one. It doesn't line up with what we've agreed God has said to us. That's number one. Number two, if she truly believes that's what God said and I said that's not God, then it's her job to wait and pray for God to either show her my heart or show me her heart. And wait, not just you're trying to control me. You're trying to, I have my own life. I have my own career. I'm going to go do what I want to do. You can't do that.
And so many times we use God to
get our way.
Yes.
We use God to get our way. Yes. We use God to validate our emotions. Mm-hmm. And we use God to validate our ungodly desires. A lot of times we even use God to cover areas that we need development. Sometimes you need to stay at the job you're at and be developed. I've had people come to me before, Pastor, they're treating me wrong on the job and it's time for me to move on. No, it's not. You moved on 3 different times. You need to stay right there. There's something in you that needs to be worked out. There's something in you that needs to be figured out. Sometimes a little salt is better than sugar. And sometimes you got to go through it. So when it comes to marriage, let me look at something. All right. When it comes to marriage, the bottom line is we have to be in agreement.
Yes.
And we have to have love. It has to be, everything that we do has to be rooted in love for one another.
And for God.
And love for God.
But in this case, say you are having these problems. Like,
right.
What do I do?
Right.
They're not hearing me.
Right.
My in-laws don't like me.
Right.
I feel left out.
Right.
I've told my husband. I've told my wife. They don't know it's me. I'm the problem.
Yeah, you're the problem.
Yes.
Right.
So what do you do?
Right. What do you do?
This is a time for love.
Right.
You need to find out his or her love language. Because let me tell you, arguing about it, don't even discuss the in-laws no more.
Right.
Let's turn to love.
Right.
Find out their love language. Share yours.
Right.
Don't wait for them to figure it out.
Right.
So many times you want our our mate. But they should know. No, life is busy. Tell them, right? Share it. What is your love language? And you start to love them according to their love language. What happens is going to draw you together. And then what's going to happen, you're going to start to enjoy being around each other. And perhaps you'll want to be around each other more than going with the buddies or back to the parents.
Right. And what we're going to talk about tonight, that will open up communication.
Oh, yeah, everything.
It'll allow you to start talking. Right. It'll allow real intimacy. Guys, you want to have a great sex life with your wife?
Oh, yeah.
Go somewhere and listen to her. Let her talk. Just go to a park, sit at a bench. And I'm not talking about do it just to have sex. I'm talking about do it because you care.
To understand.
Do it because you want to understand her. You want to get to know her. One thing I know about my wife, I know what makes her tick. How do I know what makes her tick? Because I've listened to her. I've been around her. I know the things that are important to her. With my wife, it's real simple. You know what's important to my wife? Family. Her children. Her family. Her grandkids. That's what's important to my wife. You can take everything my wife has and give her her family together, united, in agreement, having fun. That's what she loves. That's what that's her thing, right? So I understand that. So I work towards that. You know, I always want to have my wife to myself. You know, I don't want to really go everywhere with I've had my kids my whole life. I want her to myself.
I am.
Right? But I know for her, she wants me to herself, but she wants her family too. Right? So when we think about vacations, it's about the family, right? It's about the kids. So that's her thing. Get to know what makes your wife tick. What are your husband, right? What are their interests, right? My wife, sometimes she hates football. She's dreading right now that football season's coming again. She can't stand it. But you know what? When football season gets here, she makes accommodations for me to be able to watch football. She finds things to do while she don't nag at me. She don't bother me. She lets me get immersed in. She knows I love the Bucks. She understands it. She knows hockey. I don't love hockey, but when the playoffs come, she actually likes hockey. Yeah. We both like it, right? So we understand that, and she does those things. I understand the things that make her happy. The family, the house, all these things, right?
Right. You're dead on it.
So it's just about communicating. It's getting to know each other more and more intimately and not allowing outside influences into your marriage. Don't allow outside, especially today on Facebook, you guys want to put your life out on Facebook. You write down things that you're going to do that, and you want that God has not ordained, God has not told you to do, to get buy-in to others to be rebellious, to be out of the will of God. And then you get convinced that that's God. You've never one time talked to your spouse about it, talked to your spiritual parents about it, talked to your pastors about it. Those are all different things, right? Take Harry and Lakeisha. Well, I can name you a lot of couples in our church. If they're going to do something drastic in their marriage, they're going to come and talk to us first about it. Why? God has put us over their lives spiritually. It means something to them that we have a voice in what we're doing, and it can help bring clarity. It can help bring unity. It can help that communication.
And wisdom is the principal thing about
wisdom.
Because a lot of times you can get in something, but it's so much harder to get out.
What does Pastor Nick say all the time? Doing the right thing in the wrong season is still the wrong thing. It's not about what's right or wrong all the time. Right. It's about the season. And again, that also lines back up with where are we going as a couple? Where are we going as a family? It's all about preparation. What I find today is everybody wants to just leap emotionally, and they don't want to prepare. We love you, we love you, we love you.
We do.
Hopefully join us tonight. Please join us tonight. 8 o'clock, Heart of the Matter on Marriage. Tell a friend, invite a friend. We're up to almost 320-something members now. We're getting ready to have our live in-studio broadcast on June 23rd, I think it is. Mark, June 23rd. It's a Thursday night. I want everybody there. We're going to have a great time. We're going to have big fun, too. It's going to be at our church. So come and join us. Until then, Pastor Nick, Pastor Franny saying, enjoy life.